When his oldest daughter was born, he was in the maternity ward and Lebanon was being attacked. He left the maternity ward to be with the people of Lebanon and support them. Today, many years later, his child again is being born in hospital, and he left the maternity ward to stand in solidarity with us here in Bradford and in solidarity with the people of Palestine as always. Ladies and gentlemen, you do not need any introduction for this gentleman. May I please present to you the Member of Parliament for Bradford West. Give him the biggest hand, ladies and gentlemen, George Galloway. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Ash, for that very personal introduction. I should say for the record that in between contractions, my wife ordered me to come to this demonstration today. And by the time I return to the Labour ward, the real Labour ward, inshallah, there will be a new soldier for the Palestinian cause waiting for me there. As Ash said, I joined this struggle a long time ago when I was 21 years old. But some things never change. The first thing is that the rotten, corrupt BBC, Look North, will never report this great, mighty demonstration here in Bradford this evening. In fact, the BBC has brought disgrace on this country by its twisted, rotten, lying coverage of events in Gaza this week and last week and for the last 50 years. The BBC and the mainstream media is filled with lies. Lies about the events that those of us here this evening have found out the truth about. For the BBC, Palestinians die while Israelis are killed. For the BBC, Israel is bombing militants and terrorists when everyone here knows they are murdering women and children and severing the limbs from women and children this week, last week, and for decades past. For the BBC, Palestinians are extremists who have to be killed, who have to be taught a lesson so that a peace process can proceed. When in fact, there is endless process and absolutely no peace. And there's no peace because there's no justice. And our message this evening is no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. And what would justice look like? There will be no justice until every Palestinian in the world is allowed to exercise their right to return to their land and their homes from which they have been driven and scattered to the four corners of the earth. Other things never change either. The absolute silence which is complicity of the leaders of the British political class. David Cameron declared, as the women and children were being massacred, that he stood staunchly behind Israel. Well, David Cameron, we're ashamed. We're ashamed that you're our Prime Minister. We're ashamed. We stand staunchly behind the victims of terrorism, not staunchly behind the terrorists. Nick Clegg, I'm not even going to waste any breath upon. Where is Ed Miliband? Where is the leader of the opposition in Britain? He has not said one single word throughout this murderous bombardment. But according to the front page of the Jewish Chronicle, in a big headline, "I am a Zionist," said Ed Miliband. Well, Mr. Miliband, we're ashamed of you also. You're a disgrace to anything called Labour. If you cannot find one breath to speak in support, in defence of those being massacred, we don't want anything to do with you either. Some other things have never changed either. And the most important of those is the heroism and the determination and the resistance of the Palestinian people under occupation in the West Bank, under annexation in Holy Jerusalem, and under siege and bombardment in Gaza. As the wounded are dragged from the rubble, they raise their hands in the Palestinian salute. They will never surrender, never ever surrender, no matter how many of these massacres takes place.
Free, 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 free.
These people, okay, you've had your say, please be quiet now. These people are all fasting. The only thing which enters their mouth is the dust, and for the unfortunate, the blood created by this murderous bombardment. When we have our iftar in an hour and a half or so from now, these people will be lucky to find a crust of bread with which to break their fast. But they didn't stop fasting. They didn't stop praying. All they're asking is this question: where is this ummah that they teach us about in school? Our answer is here. This is the ummah in Bradford, and it stands with them.
Yeah, it's got a new shoe.
Free Amon! Free Amon! Free Amon!
And this is the question they're asking in Gaza. this evening? Where are the corrupt kings and the puppet presidents of the Arab world? Where are they? With their weapons. Saudi Arabia has spent $3 trillion on weapons, but they haven't supplied a single bullet to the resistance in Gaza with which to defend themselves. Qatar and the United Arab Emirates, between them, have spent in the last 12 months £2 billion on football teams in Manchester and in Paris. Imagine if these corrupt regimes had spent their money even on air raid shelters for the people in Gaza, if even they built air raid shelters for the people in Gaza. And this general, this head of a military junta in Cairo, who this evening has refused permission to European doctors to cross through Rafah to help the Palestinian doctors treat the massive dead and wounded people that are coming through the doors of their hospitals. General Sisi has destroyed the very tunnels through which the Palestinian people were eating and through which the Palestinian people were receiving the pitiful weapons with which they are trying to defend themselves. Where is the Ras Sharif? Where's the Prime Minister of Pakistan? Where's the Pakistan army? None of them, not one Arab regime has lifted a finger to stop this massacre. So we have to do it as people of this ummah ourselves. God instructs us to raise our hands against injustice. And if we cannot raise our hands, then to speak from our lips words against injustice. And if we can do neither, we are instructed to curse injustice in our hearts. We here in Bradford are free people. We are raising our hands, our fists, our flags, our banners. We are speaking against injustice, and surely each and every one of us is cursing that injustice in our hearts. But the truth is, none of that is able to shield the Palestinian people under bombardment from the mass murder. Whole families are being wiped out. Just this very day, a family of a mother and father and 8 children, all